Okay, well, welcome. This video is simply to introduce you to the Department of Business internship program. What are the requirements and what we're expecting from you in order to complete your internship requirement for the department. We used to do a in-person information session on this, but hopefully this video is easier for you to watch on your own time and to just keep as a reference for you as you go about the internship process. We are going to talk briefly about the business department requirement overview in general, the difference between for credit versus not for credit internships, the registration process, and the problem analysis case paper that you'll be required to do, some of the other completion materials that you're going to be required to do, the poster creation for those of you who will be taking this for credit, and then just some basic best practices and an opportunity for you to email me questions at the end. So the business department requires that you do an approved internship in order to graduate with your major. This is for all of our majors in the department except for accounting. So if you're finance, entrepreneurship, marketing, or management, you're required to do an internship where you work at least 105 work hours. Those need to be logged work hours at your internship site. You are able to take it for credit or not for credit. And we'll talk about the distinction between that in just a minute. And we really like to see that you do an internship that provides, a project or some sort of defined responsibilities that produce skills and outcomes that'll be helpful for you in your future. I listed out all the documentation requirements here because there's a lot of different things you'll have to submit over the course of the semester to get your internship counted. We do all of this not to make a lot of paperwork for you, but really to make sure that you're thinking about your experience, reflecting on how it impacts you, as well as just making sure that you're following the requirement and tracking those hours as well. So you'll have to turn in your internship agreement form, do a problem analysis case paper. Those of you doing it for credit will be doing a poster. And then at the end of the semester, there's a work hours log, employer and student evaluations that you and your supervisor will fill out. And then there's a student post internship reflection response that you'll need to do. And then anything that your faculty member asks you to do as well. So what's the difference between a for credit and a not for credit internship? There's a few differences, and you can fulfill the business requirement through doing both of them. If you're taking an internship for credit, you're allowed to take it for anywhere between 1 and 10 credit hours, but you can only do an accumulated maximum of 10 credit hours worth of internship credit. So you can, if you've done an internship for 5 credit hours last semester, you only have 5 credit hours left to work with. And to do or fulfill the business department requirement, you at least need to do 3 credits, which is 105 work hours. You pay for all credits that you earn over the summer, and then anything that you overload with over 19 credit hours during the regular semester. So just know that if you're taking an internship for credit over the summer, you will have to pay for those credits. And then if you're taking a lot of credit hours during the year where you might actually go over 19, you'll have to pay for them during the semester as well. Every credit hour, though, you must work 35 work hours. So like I said, you can do around 3 credit hours to fulfill the department requirement. But if you register for more than 3, say you register for 6 credit hours, then you'll have to do more work hours than just the 105 that we require. So just know that every credit you get, you need to work 35 hours for. And then because it's credit bearing, your faculty member may ask for additional academic evaluation materials, and something that they would like you to do in order to reflect and get the credits from them. If you only do the internship for the requirement and you don't take it for credit hours, there's really not much of a change in paperwork, but more so in just some of the logistics of payment. So for requirement only, there's no charge for completing the requirement that way. And a lot of students will do this in the summer. because they don't want to either pay for credits or they just want to get the requirement out of the way. You also don't have to create the poster that students who are taking it for credit will have to create, but other than that, all the other work you'll be required to do. So what do you need to do in order to register for the internship? Obviously, you need to apply, interview, and receive an internship from a company or organization. And then there's an agreement form. This agreement form must be turned in towards the beginning of the internship. We will not take the agreement form or accept it after most of the internship has been completed, after it's done being completed, or later on. You must register for your internship at the beginning of the internship. This doesn't mean you can't start your internship until you've registered, but you must fill out the paperwork and get it to us somewhere in that beginning period. If you come to us, in the beginning of the spring semester to register for an internship you completed in December, we won't let you do that. But the agreement form that you need to turn in, you'll have to fill out all portions of the form, and I'll quickly run through that in just a second. You'll have to meet with your faculty supervisor to make sure they approve and get all the signatures that are required, and then turn the form in to Career Services by the specified date for each semester. All of the dates and information that you'll need will be on Moodle. Each semester, I put up a kind of a process document that gives you all the dates that you will need in order to make sure you're on track for that semester. But once you turn that in, you'll wait, and Career Services will send you a notification to your campus mailbox, I believe, that says you've been approved, and then they'll send me a copy of your approved internship forms as well. Once you are approved, you should receive a welcome email from me for the internship program. Please, keep on the lookout for this. And if you do not receive one, reach out, because that means I probably have not received your paperwork. And in that email, requirement, deadlines, documentation, all that stuff will be there, as well as on Moodle. So let's go through the agreement form really quick. The top of the agreement form is basically just some personal information about you. Make sure you put in your student ID number there. It's how they confirm with the registrar who's taking the course. And then also make sure you put in your campus mailbox number so they can send you the confirmation. This is where you'll put the number of credit hours you're going to take for the internship. If it's for 0 credit, just list 0 there. And then the most important piece for this is to make sure you get the department and course number right. This is what triggers the paperwork to come back to me in the end, so I can keep track of it. In the department, you'll need to either write BUSN for all majors except accounting, or ACCT for accounting. That you'll write in the department section. And then the course number is always going to be 491. So when they in Career Services see this, they usually make a copy of the paperwork and send it back to me so that I can keep track here of who's doing an internship and what stuff you have already completed and what you still need to complete. Second part of the internship form is just some information about your site, who is supervising you, what their contact information is, where you're working, that sort of thing. And then the third part is really kind of the in-depth overview of what you're going to be doing. So you need to attach a description of your internship to the agreement form. Your faculty member will probably not approve the agreement form until they have seen the description of the internship. You'll need to attach it with the agreement form. In the learning outcomes section, you're to list some personal goals or skills that you look to develop, and please be specific with this. A lot of people put like one-word goals, and it's helpful the more specific you are. So rather than just saying communication, I would say something like, I hope to learn how to be a better communicator with employees and teammates in the workplace. Something like that. Make them more descriptive. It'll help your faculty member help them to understand more what you're hoping to get out of the experience and show that you've put a little thought into that process. The academic evaluation section will be something your faculty member will help you or assist with. So when you take this to your advisor, they'll tell you what they would like you to do in order to receive academic credit for this. Again, most of the time it'll just be the poster that I have listed on these requirements, but they may have something extra that they want you to do. And then the last part of the agreement form is all the signatures. You must receive all the signatures except the last one before submitting to Career Services. So don't submit this document to Career Services with having just your signature and your advisor. You need to have your signature, your advisor's signature, our department chair's signature, and then the supervisor from your internship site will need to sign this as well. All of that needs to be complete before you submit to Career Services. So you'll need to make sure you get on that in enough time to get it done efficiently. Usually your academic advisor and your faculty supervisor are the same person, unless you're doing an internship in a different department. So you'll get two signatures for the price of one right there. Check with your faculty advisor, though, to make sure that is the case. We know that sometimes because of distance or time, it may be difficult to get your site supervisor to physically sign the copy of the form. If that is the case, an offer letter or an email from your supervisor stating that they either approve of the internship agreement form or that you will be doing an internship with them will suffice for the site supervisor signature. Just make sure it's attached and included in all your documentation when you send it to Career Services. Once you give it to Career Services, they'll do the final approval on the form and then send it back to me, and they'll also send it to the registrar to be put on your record. So after you've registered for the internship and you've gotten that taken care of, about halfway through the semester, you'll have to do a problem analysis case paper. This used to be called the mid-semester evaluation, and it was done online, but we tried to streamline it a little bit and making it more, relevant for you to help you reflect on the experience and the work that you're doing. An instructional guide on how to write this paper and the criteria is located on Moodle. It's also in the packet of paperwork for internships that you might pick up from the business department or from me. But you can find it on Moodle if you do not have access to that. And it'll talk a little bit more deeper about how to actually write the paper and what to do. Basically, it's a 3 to 4 page paper that will reflect on a problem you're experiencing during your internship using 4 questions. So it'll be 4 sections. What happened? A description of, as it is, this is what happened. Why did it happen? Where you kind of interpret the problem or the experience, what should be happening, and then what did you do about it? Those are 4 questions that'll form the framework. More will be on that instructional guide for you. After you're complete with that, you'll submit the final PDF version. I would actually prefer you to email it to me. I know the slide says to Moodle Dropbox, but I would prefer you to email it to me at queenh@wittenberg.edu. The paper will be the basis for the text of the internship poster that you're required to do, if you're required to create one. So make sure you put a lot of thought into this. Because for those of you who are taking it for credit, this will be the text that you use for that poster. Speaking of the poster, here's an example or a picture of the poster template. This is something that's going to be required for all of you who are taking it for any credit. So 1 to 10 credit hours, you'll have to do this. It's a 22 by 36 poster that you will present at the Celebration of Learning in the spring or the next department poster session, whichever one is closer. There is a template already created for you to use, so you don't have to worry about creating the poster itself. As far as the format and design and everything, it's already created for you. And the text for the poster, outside of the internship description, comes directly from your internship problem analysis case. So you don't need to spend a lot of time adding extra writing. You may just have to write the internship description and then pull in the content from your problem analysis case to the poster. It is your responsibility to create and print the poster using the template that we have in Publisher. It's already sized the way you need it, and we have an instructional guide on Moodle on how to both save your file and then submit it for printing. The printing comes off your Tiger Print account just like any other printing that's done through the library. But make sure you check out those instructions on Moodle to make sure you're doing everything that you need to do for that. After you've printed your poster, you'll have to deliver it to the business department office in Hombeck 218, and we will store it with us until it's time for you to present whenever the next poster presentation session might be. So this brings us to the end of your internship. So at the end of the semester, whenever you're done with your hours and you're ready to complete your internship, there are some things you'll need to submit to us. First is the work hours log. So I would like you to scan and email this to me. It needs to be completed and signed by your supervisor, showing the number of hours that you need to in order to get the credits or the department requirement. Be sure to keep track of all the hours that you work over the course of the semester, because we do use this to verify that you've met the requirement and the criteria for your internship. Remember, we require 100 work hours to be logged for the requirement itself, but you may need to do more depending on how many credit hours that you register for. I should mention this form will be sent to you in the welcome email, but it's also in the packets that you pick up from me for internships, and it's also posted on Moodle. The other two documents that we need for completion are both evaluations, and they're both completed through digital surveys. Your employer will have an evaluation that they do on you, and they can or do not, they're able to, but they're also able to restrict your access to it. So they may opt that you can see it, and they may opt that it be a private evaluation, but they submit it through a digital survey. You also have an evaluation to do through the company or for the company. We have survey links for both of these on Moodle. You'll complete it to evaluate your experience and your supervisor, and again, you can opt to not have it shared or to be private, so that the company does not have access to your evaluation. Those two things need to be completed by the end of the semester too, at the date given on the instruction guide on Moodle. And then we come to the vocational reflection. This is just 6 quick questions that we would like you to answer in a few sentences, talking a little bit about your experience overall. You'll fill this out. The Word document is a template on Moodle. You can download and then fill in the response boxes, save it, and then email it to me at queenh@wittenberg.edu by the date listed in the instruction guide at the end of the semester. It's really to just help us see how the internship experience has impacted you and where you feel it is leading you to go from this point forward. So this is just a helpful graphic to show you start to finish what the internship program looks like. At the beginning, you find an internship, you watch this video, and then you complete and submit your agreement form to Career Services. During the internship, you'll need to track your work hours, make sure you're getting your problem analysis case paper submitted, and then also make sure you print your poster if you're required for credit, and then working on any of the requirements that your faculty member may ask that you do. And at the end of the internship, we need all the rest of the documents. So the work hours log, your employer and student evaluations, the post-internship reflection. Your faculty may have requirements for you to finish, and then obviously you need to present at the next poster session. So let's just talk a little bit about best practices for internships in general. It's, we have this requirement because we want it to be a great experience for you to really aid in applying your skills that you learn in the classroom to, the office or real world work setting. And so we're really committed to making sure that you have a good internship experience and that any issues are taken care of as need be. We ask that you, if you don't have them set up automatically, that you ask for regular meetings with your supervisor, talk about progress and goals and growing edges for yourself. Ask for things that are challenging to you, and ask questions and take initiative on projects if you have the ability to do that. But do all of the work that you're going to do within the expectations set by your site. Every office and work environment is different, and some will have different expectations for you than others, and you'll need to work within those boundaries for your workplace. Figure out what type of culture the company has, and make sure your typical daily work dress follows that and follows the company policy. It varies from company to company. If you're walking into a bank, you may need to wear a suit every day. If you're walking into a marketing firm, that may not be the case. Figure out what type of workplace cues you can pick up on to make sure that you're fitting in with the workplace environment and culture that you are working in. And then, as a special note here at the bottom, this is an experience that we expect to be, free of harassment and really positive for you. Please notify, your faculty supervisor, myself, Career Services, or another appropriate campus office if you need anything or if there's a problem that you need assistance with or that we should know about. Chances are we most likely, will have to, in some way, take action at those moments, but we are here to help you and to make sure that you are having a good internship experience that's positive for you and is also safe and just a good place to work. So please note that if there are any issues, you can reach out to any of us to support you in whatever way that might be. And then the last thing I want to say is just to make sure you know what you're being evaluated on. The supervisor evaluation is going to go through and evaluate you on the following criteria. So they're going to evaluate you on your punctuality, your attendance, dependability, appropriate or professional dress or appearance, how well you accept constructive criticism, communication, your technical skills, attention to detail, your ability to be self-reliant, professional attitude, how well you're able to adapt to change and unexpected problems. Are you respectful of authority? Do you take initiative and creativity on things? Are you able to follow directions, meet deadlines, and complete tasks? Are you willing to learn? And can you work well with the coworkers and supervisors? Can you manage your time well? And are you able to problem solve? And are you organized? All of these things your supervisor will be rating you on and just giving some feedback on your performance at the end of the semester. So keep that in mind as you're going throughout your internship to know some of the things that you should be thinking about just in general, even if we weren't evaluating you on it at any given time. So that's the internship program. As quickly as I can run through it. Hopefully this was helpful for you. I'm always available for questions. You can send me an email at queenh@wittenberg.edu. My office is on the third floor of Hollenbeck in 307. Please come by and visit me if you have any questions about the requirement, or if you're stuck in a spot and you're not quite sure what to do, you can do that as well. We have a lot of students that do internships every semester, and we hope that they're valuable experiences for you that help set you up on a trajectory for success after graduation and even during your time here at Wittenberg. So please take the internship program and requirement seriously. Don't do this as something that just checks the box, but really try to get as much value out of the experience as you can. Like I said, everything that we've talked about will be posted on Moodle, including this PowerPoint presentation. It'll be there for you as a resource. Also, all the documentation and the supporting materials and instructions that I talked about in the video will be there as well. We have a department Moodle page. If you're a new major and haven't been added to that yet, please check Moodle and make sure you can see it. And if not, let me know and I will add you in to the Moodle page as soon as I can. Thanks and have a good afternoon.